Let's see, how are we doing this evening? Um, I'm Phil. This is Everything Spicy News. Trying to keep this separate from my other channel, so I can vent and talk and express my political opinions on here without alienating people from my original channel. So I got to get something I want to talk about. I thought, maybe we come on here, see who shows up, and it's not an open discussion. I'm not on StreamYard, so I'm not bringing people up on the panel. It's not an open discussion. I'll read chat people in the chat, and we'll look at that. But I want to talk about what's going on in our government. Hello, Melissa Spencer. How are you? Good to see you. Good afternoon. We will be going live tonight as well, so don't anybody worry about this ruining anything we're going to do today. We will be going live tonight on my regular channel, right? Well, I tell you, I haven't streamed on YouTube in a long time. As far as YouTube's, I usually go through StreamYard, right? This is pretty clear, and it got a big picture of me. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's good to see the two of you in here. So here's what's going through my head, guys. I did a video on this. I haven't posted it. I want to go through and edit it, but it's kind of, I guess it's along the same lines as what I'm about to go over now. There is evidence. There's evidence of voter fraud. Now, there's voter fraud in every vote, in every election, right? There's always dead people that vote. We've been hearing about this for decades. Dead person voted, this person voted, that person. There's a little bit. And in most cases, on the big scale, the big thing. Good to see you, Shane. Good to see you, Bradley. Usually on the big stage, it's not doing a whole lot. Joe Blow votes twice. It's not a big deal. But there's been evidence compiled. Now, whether it's good evidence or bad evidence, the media on the left-hand side would lead you to believe there's no evidence. There's no evidence of voter fraud. Well, you can't say there's no evidence, because there is evidence of voter fraud. Now, whether it's good evidence or bad evidence, whether it's truthful or untruthful, is yet to be seen. Now, some of this stuff is, they keep having judges wanting to look at this. Let me not get off on a tangent, because I want to say what I came on here to say, and that is, we deserve to have a body of people look at what they do have. Okay? Rudy Giuliani and other people have compiled paperwork, statistics, things that have happened that deserved to be looked at. So these things that judges have or haven't looked at, will or won't look at. This is my Everything Spicy News, Bradley. So you probably are blue on my other one. So, the American people, not even for this election, okay? Forget this election. This election is over, all right? They're going to put in, in 12 days, Biden's going to be your new president. Time to face facts, guys. 12 days from now, Biden is going to be your president. Whether you like it or not, whether I like it or not, the guy is going to be our commander in chief. So, time to get over that. Now, what we need to do, are your votes done by computers? What we need to do, hey Angie, how you doing? Is make sure going forward we don't have this problem again. I took some notes of some things that I wanted to say, and I don't know what the heck I did with it, because when I got done with my video, I just kind of set it to the side. But it started with but the American people deserve to know. Hello, Teresa. The American people deserve to know. They deserve to at least have the evidence looked at by a body of people, bipartisan, and just come up to it with a determination. Is this something that is serious enough to look at? Because if there is wide-scale voter fraud, it should be corrected. It may not correct doesn't need to change the presidency. Let's forget about that, because if you're trying to change something, That's where you get resistance. That's where you get pushback, right? If my guy got voted in, if this person got voted in, that's where all the pushback is. We need to know going forward that our votes are going to count. And people on both sides and people in the middle agree. There are some voter irregularities. There is some voter fraud. So I don't know. I think, I don't know what you guys all think. What's up, James? What y'all think about that? I think they should get down and take a look at the evidence. The way I see it, I don't believe enough judges have looked at the evidence or looked at the evidence at all. I think the ones that have chosen to look at it or not look at it at all, their bipartisanship, or they're not bipartisan, their partisanship has kept them from looking at it objectively. And, if you got two people looking at something, if I'm looking at something and it's red, but someone else is telling me it's blue, but there's another person sitting there next to me who says, no, that's definitely red. You can't say that's blue. Then you got to kind of agree with them. Says, yeah, you're right. That is red. Okay. But, if you don't have someone holding you accountable for making a decision, you just can make the decision all on your own, and no one's sitting there to hold you accountable, then, there can be fraud. Fraud is being absolutely, Angie. I've said this on my channel before, Angie. And have you heard one Democrat say, I can't believe we have 76 million Americans that voted for Donald J. Trump. There's got to be fraud, because there's no way 76 million, 10 million more votes than Obama ever got. 10 million more votes than Obama ever got. And there's no way you got 76 million people in the United States that would vote for Donald Trump, right? Because if they say that, then they're admitting there's voter fraud. And if you admit there's voter fraud, then you admit you got to look into it, right? I believe, again, this is more about forcing our government officials to sit down, to come up with 3 people on the left, 3 people on the right, not Pelosi, not Schumer, okay? They got other things to do, okay? 3 Democrats, 3 Republicans, 3 people from Supreme Court need to sit down, and they need to look at this. They need to sit down and take a look, spend some time, and figure this out. Because moving forward, we need to know that things were done. And you know what? If people are involved in illegal activity, they should go to jail. I have my own set of beliefs, but that's my biggest thing I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about them sitting down, and this isn't it's not gonna happen, right? So I'm wasting my breath even talking about it. What's up, Crazy Ann? I'm wasting my time talking about it, I guess, because you're never going to get them. The left isn't going to agree to sit down. Why would we sit down? Why would we sit down with the right? Why would we sit down and look at this evidence when our guy clearly won, right? We ain't going to do that. We're not interested in doing that. Who's going to make us? Who are you going to make us sit down? You're going to make it, Republicans, you're going to make us sit down and look at this stuff. We're not going to sit down and look at it. No, we're not going to sit down and look at it. Forget you. Our guy won, right? That's what you Democrats would say. Why our guy won? You're going to come up, we're going to shoot, find there's 8 million wrong votes that flip-flop the other way. My belief, and you can say this is crazy if you want to, 2016, Hillary and the Democratic Party were convinced without a doubt, no doubt in their mind. There were rallies all over the place the night that she was become our first female president. right? People were ready to celebrate Hillary Clinton, a Clinton, back in the White House. Then something happened. They couldn't believe it. Now, Hillary Clinton conceded that night. Now, when she says, that Joe Biden should never concede, if Joe Biden was to lose, he would never concede. That's an odd thing for a lady to say. Seems for an odd thing to say if you think that there was corruption. Now, of course, we find out after the fact that they started this whole Russian collusion thing. They were doing even before he was elected. They were trying to say there was some kind of collusion or something going wrong. The president already had people spying on his campaign, but they didn't think it was enough of it. And the reason I don't think they thought enough of it is because I believe they were cheating before this. I believe in 2016 that the Democratic Party cheated. That is why Hillary Clinton got more popular votes than Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I believe, that I was shocked the night he went up on the podium. I believe he and his family were shocked. 2016, the night he won the election and his family wound up on the podium. And I think the reason that Hillary Clinton didn't want to look at voter fraud. She wanted to look at outside influence, right? Russian collusion, outside influence. That's what she wanted to look at. Let's see if we can prove something there. Well, there was this whole email scandal going on right about then, and of course, talk about Russian collusion definitely takes away the attention from her email scandal, where all of her emails were scrubbed. So we spent 3 plus years, trying to determine that there was Russian collusion, which of course they didn't. There was a fake dossier. Put something in writing, write this down, and disperse it amongst the left-wing media, and suddenly it becomes believable to some people, and becomes fact. When in actuality, it was fiction. There was no Russian collusion. He was Russia's puppet. No Russia puppet. No Russian collusion. And of course, they haven't been able to prove that to date. But the reason why is because they didn't want them to look into the voting systems then. The voting systems then, the voting systems now, the same voting systems they've used, same voting systems they've used in other countries in order to have fraudulent elections in other countries. All right, say this one's not. But it's been proven in other countries that there's the same voting system that resulted in fraudulent elections in other countries. I believe one was Venezuela, right? So that's why they didn't look into dead voters, absentee voters, ballot harvesting. They didn't look into all that in 2016. Why? Because had they looked into it, I got a feeling that you would have known there was voter fraud then. So they went the route of Russian collusion. Otherwise, I believe Hillary Clinton would have fought that. Now, 4 years later, they got smarter. There's the pandemic, right? Hundreds of thousands of ballots were mailed out to people who did not request ballots. Proven fact. Proven fact. Homes got ballots for people who hadn't lived in those homes. Previous homeowners that no longer live there. Ballots came to homes with other people's names on them. Very easy to mail it in, right? Was that done on purpose or was it done by accident? I know it was the state of Michigan, something like they hadn't updated our system in I think it was 10 years of registered voters in the state of Michigan. So in that 10-year time, all the registered voters in the state of Michigan that had died weren't scrubbed out of the system. So they had these ballots sent to their homes. These dead people. It's quite possible, Angie. It's quite possible. You know, do it based on what you're saying right there, right? Shouldn't we look into it? I mean, trust me. In 2016, they questioned a lot of things. In 2018, just 2 years ago, Angie, just 2 years ago, they questioned the voting machines. The Democrats did. Do I think? Do I think he'll step down? No. They did. They did. I do believe that Nancy Pelosi talked about the 25th Amendment setting the American people up for what the plan is, and I believe that I don't believe Biden will make it the entire 4 years. I believe that is the reason for her bringing that up 2 months ago or whenever she brought that up. Nancy Pelosi was there is a plan. There's a plan. Why bring it up? If there's not a plan, why would you bring up the 20? It's there, part of the Constitution, right? The 25th Amendment, part of your Constitution, or it's an amendment to the Constitution, whatever you want to call it. Why did you have to bring it up? Why did you have to bring it up and talk about it? She said it didn't involve Trump, right? Didn't she sit there and say, this is not about Donald Trump? Well, if it's not about Donald Trump, then it's about the other guy that, if you watch the videos, again, some of us only see what the mainstream media puts out there. So you don't see him stuttering and stammering and saying incoherent words. A lot of the things that, if you watch stuff from the right, you see plenty of it. The sniffing, the wandering around backstage when his wife is talking, rambling, saying words that aren't even words, rambling, and just, something that should be a word but isn't a word. Him and Han, he did very well at most of his, at his two debates. But, we need to know. We need to know. And if at the end of the bottom line is leave Biden in there, but we need to know. We need to get this fixed. I believe we've got a problem in our country, and I got a feeling that one side is trying to take power away from the people, take power away from you and I, the American people. Everybody's power hungry, I liked, and I'm sorry to any of my friends that aren't Americans, but I loved Trump's America First policy, right? We take care of ours first. What's up, Trav? We take care of our people first, as it should be in any country, right? Your government, if you got a dictator, you got a queen, whoever's in charge of your country, first person they should be taking care of is you, right? You should be the first person they're taking care of. Well, Angie, you know what Pence is doing. Pence stated the Constitution, okay? Pence is trying to save his political career. Because when Trump's gone, Pence is number 2 hated guy. He's trying to save his own ass. Excuse the language. But that's what Pence is trying to do right now. He's trying to, he has stood by President Trump through everything. At any point in time, he could have said anything. He said, you know what, this isn't right. This, he's trying to save his own neck now. So Trump's always talked about the Constitution. Pence recited the Constitution about this Electoral College vote counting. He recited the Constitution, and that's why he chose to go the way he did. The way he's, but hey guys, what's up, Georgiana? Don't be fooled by this electoral counting thing. Again, if you're looking at CNN, MSNBC, if you look at the mainstream media, what they're not telling you is the last 3 times a Republican president was elected. You can go back and look at this. The Electoral College votes were challenged just as they were Tuesday, Wednesday night. Yes, they were Wednesday night. Electoral College votes were challenged by Democrats. Okay? Go look it up. They did the same exact thing, ranted and raved like lunatics on our last three Republican presidential elect. When the Republicans went in, they challenged the Electoral College votes. Okay? And then suddenly when we do it, the Republicans do it, it's fighting democracy. It's treasonous. It's, people should be put in jail, stand behind the Republican President Donald Trump. It's treason. They should be put in jail. Have you listened to some of these people and some of the things that they say about who should go to jail for what? I want to talk about what happened on Wednesday. On Wednesday, something terrible happened, and that is a combination of Antifa, maybe a very small percentage, and Americans went in to the Capitol building. Now, they didn't set it on fire. They did mess up the rooms. There were papers all over the place in some of the rooms. They showed them. I'm going to assume that is exactly what the people did. I'm going to assume that nobody tried to make it look worse than it was. That's despicable, and it's our building. It is our building, but it doesn't make it right. What they did was wrong. They shouldn't have been in the building. They were allowed to peacefully protest outside, and they should have stayed outside. Now, insurrectionist. They used the word insurrectionist. I mean, the first person to use that word was our President-elect Joe Biden, insurrectionist. Of course, this is the word. I mean, everybody should go to jail. Everybody should be hung. Everybody should be, but insurrectionist. These are the same people that ignored the burning of buildings, ignored what was going on in Portland, going on in Chicago, going on in Seattle, going on across in Minnesota, Wisconsin, ignored everything that was going on out there. Ignored mostly peaceful protests. Mostly, and I agree, mostly peaceful protests. But there are those that will take a peaceful protest and use it as an umbrella to do what they want to do. Now, I saw a video today it looked as if there were hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people, not outside the Capitol, but in this one great big thing where Trump was. I mean, when you got that camera view, of course, mainstream media didn't show it. And that was the first time I had seen it. I was disappointed because I thought people, didn't show up for Trump. I thought, based on what, mainstream media was showing me, but it looks like people showed up for Trump. There were a lot of people there. Where was I going with this thought process? I forget. But bottom line is, no one in the media, they downplayed. Matter of fact, they outright ignored the burning of buildings, the burning of businesses, everything that was going on in Minnesota, Wisconsin. Oh, of course, until, some white kid shoots people defending himself. And don't get me going on this, because I've watched everything. All the video you haven't seen, people, all the video you haven't, if you're watching CNN, MSNBC, if you're watching all ABC, CBS, they're not showing you all the videos. There are more videos out there. My own daughter, I showed her a video of something about Jacob Blake that she hadn't seen. And it kind of, it says, well, why are they not showing that? Why does my dad have to show me that? Why is that not something I'm seeing on what I'm watching? Why am I not getting the whole story? Well, it's like everything that we don't get the whole story on, right? How many times do you see clips of a police officer striking a protester? I think, oh, then police, they shouldn't be doing that. What we didn't see was the first 10 minutes that led up to that person getting struck. And that's a person getting struck, not a person getting shot dead. It's a person getting struck. It's because we don't always have the whole story. Yeah, yeah. Today, Wednesday night was, but the way the media, the mainstream media, and your Democratic Party are treating this, they treat it like the last 9 months hasn't happened. The burning down of buildings, the burning down of businesses. Maybe those businesses were best being burnt down because you know what? In a lot of states, those same businesses would have been shut down to just die. To just die. Because there are businesses out there today that are dying because of these shutdowns. But no, that's not right. I mean, bottom line is these things should this shouldn't happen. Well, not just Wednesday night. You're right, right? Not just Wednesday night. What's happened? I mean, I don't know what you're speaking of if you're talking about, people on the right. I don't see much. I hadn't seen much bad stuff from the folks on the right as I have the people from the left. And I say people from the left. I'm not saying people from the left. I'm saying that 1%, actually less than 1%, less than 1%. You look at the millions or hundreds of thousands of people that were at the Trump rally. Let's say 200 people went into the Capitol. I think it's a high number, but let's say 200 people went into the Capitol. What percentage is that? Less than a tenth of a percent? That's less than a tenth of a percent. So let's talk about what percentage of those people they are. Most of us are somewhere here in the middle, right? Middle right, middle left, middle. There's that small percentage on either side that are causing these problems. But we can't. But ignoring those problems is a problem. I've heard the words law and order come out of the mouth of our vice president or our president-elect Joe Biden. Something that we've been talking about for 8+ months, law and order in the streets of the United States where, people are tearing down monuments and all this other stuff going on, Do you realize what was it? It was just a few months ago. Something like this was going on in D.C. where they were rioting, they were burning stuff. Now they didn't go into the Capitol building, but they were rioting and burning. And I don't remember exactly what it was. They were rioting and burning in Washington D.C., but these weren't Republicans. These weren't conservatives. These were liberals. Look it up. I forget which month it was. I was seeing someone was showing a picture today. You could see the Washington Monument because it's obviously the one big phallus that sticks up in the middle of Washington, and you could see smoke from what was going on. I don't want to upset anyone here. Trump promoted outrage, in my opinion. Trump had a poor choice of words. Trump got up there and he said some things. I agree, Angie. I agree. There were way things were worded that could have been worded differently. Kavanaugh hearings. Yeah. Remember, someone was talking about the Kavanaugh hearings. Yeah, they were beating on the doors of that same Supreme Court, or that same Senate, right? Then they called those people heroes. So this is the first time Americans have occupied and gone into the Capitol building. It was June when DC was on fire. Okay. Again, I give them a bit of blame about how this became what it became. I did hear something where there wasn't enough security at the Capitol. That all the security, thousands of police officers, was down at the rally where Trump spoke, but not back at the Capitol where everybody wound up going to. So apparently the Capitol was breached, I think, on both sides. I don't know. So, yeah, we all got opinions. And nobody, again, I always talk about, everybody's got a free, you have a free voice on here. You have a free to give an opinion, to put it in the chat. When you start messing with one another in the chat, when people start calling people names in the chat, that's when I change, how I handle the chat. But yeah, so and this upsets me, and you know what? If you choose to just watch one side of the media, left or right, you're not looking at what you need to be looking at. It's true. The media is biased. What I watch mostly, CNN. Yeah, we're all adults here. I have to watch CNN. Both have run their mouths without thinking. I completely agree. I think people aren't looking at everything, And of course, a lot of these media places are owned by, big money, right? They're given topics to talk about, not talk about. I think they told them not to talk about, what was it? They happened recently. They were specific. Oh, the Hunter Biden thing, right? Specifically told them not to talk about it. There was a recorded CNN conference call, right? Specifically telling them not to talk and to ignore the Hunter Biden thing. So, that right there should tell you something, right? That's big news. If it had been a Trump kid, they would want to know. It would have been, again, if it was a Trump kid, that same thing with the Hunter Biden thing. Wow, I can't even imagine. You always got to put the shoe on the other foot, right? If this was this, would it be the same? Had that 35-year-old lady, Army veteran or Army Air Force veteran, going through the window, had that been them going Black Lives Matter going into the Capitol building, and that was a young black lady jumping over that barricade or getting ready to jump over that barricade, that was shot at point blank range, would we be talking the same way? I've heard people say she deserved it, right? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, someone told me. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Should she have been in there? No. Put the shoe on the other foot. Black lady, Black Lives Matter, in the Capitol or in any building, right? We know they've gone into buildings and places, right? Had that been someone defending their business, there would be cities right now burning because they have shoe on the other foot, and that not been a white female that was a Trump support. Now, let's go into this. Shoot to Maine, right? Telling police, why do you have to? They've been told. I think Biden was one of the ones. Warning shot. Maybe all lives do matter, Angie. And Black Lives Matter, but not Black Lives Matter, the group, Black Lives people. All lives matter. And you know what? The atrocities that happened to black folk back in the day, horrible. So you can't change the past. But where was I going? I had a thought and I completely lost it. Thanks, Angie. Got me off. Well, term limits. There should be term limits. You know why there should be term limits? Because you got 47 years for Biden. That's another thing why I have a hard time believing Biden got so many votes. Twice Biden ran for president. Didn't he run for president twice? Not actually run on the ticket, but in the Democratic Party tried to get, the nomination, right? And no support for him whatsoever. But suddenly you expect me this time to believe he got 84 million votes. 84 million votes. Can you think, wrap your head around that? That's almost 20 million more than Obama got. 20 million more votes than Obama got. And but Obama was a articulate, well-spoken man. Didn't ramble, didn't garble his words. He did a very good job, was a very well-spoken individual. And then you got Mumbling Joe. I have a hard time believing that during a pandemic, when people were supposed to be staying home, except to go out to vote, that you got the largest voter turnout in the world, in the record number of people, whether it be mail-in ballots or whatever, voted for our presidential election during a pandemic. Is that hard for anybody to believe? If you're on the left side, is it hard to believe that we got a record number of votes during a pandemic? That's why I think that these computer systems screwed this election up. I believe there are algorithms. They talk about algorithms because we know, YouTube, Facebook, all these things run off of algorithms, right? We know this. All of these things that we do, all these things that you and I, we're all on here right now, these things all run off of algorithms. Algorithms are set up by an individual, by groups of individuals, in order to achieve a goal, right? And what algorithms on YouTube, what are they designed to do? They're designed to keep people on YouTube, right? They don't want you sending someone off somewhere else. Their algorithms are designed to keep people on YouTube. Someone watches a whole video of somebody, guess what the next video is? It's another one of that same person or something very much like it. They don't just get random stuff in there for viewers to look at. That's why I'm afraid. So every now and then I catch something that I want to watch. I'm afraid to watch it too long because then I don't want to watch that much of something. But yeah, so I believe that the algorithms, I believe that Trump got a record number of votes. So I believe he got 74 million votes during the pandemic, or 76 million or 75, whatever it is, right? I don't believe he got that. I can believe that the system did that. I believe then that the ballots that they had set up in these Democratic cities, because that's the whole county, the Democratic cities, that's where all this happened, right? So Will the Rocker Will. That's where this happened, all in these Democratic cities. It didn't happen in any Republican towns where suddenly this all happened in Democratic cities, yeah. So yeah, it's really Democratic cities. So in the swing states, not in the non-swing states, but in the swing states. And they didn't happen during the daytime. Didn't happen. They weren't pre-counted. They weren't counted during the election process. They were counted in the dark of night and into the mornings, into the following day. They were taken up, ballots that were taken out from underneath desks. Things that were counted with, like in Michigan, with cardboard being put up over the glass, kicking observers out, Republican observers, kicking them out. When you see people sitting there counting ballots and there's one person there, that's illegal. There's every ballot that is counted that is a mail-in ballot. There is supposed to be a Republican and a Democrat sitting there. I don't care if there is a pandemic. There's supposed to be one of each sitting there counting those things, keeping someone honest. Not happening. So, well, listen, guys, I'm going to let everyone go. I wanted to get on here and talk about this. We will be going live tonight, probably around 8:30, 9 o'clock. No, I'm not pro Biden, Mike. I am pro America. I am for the American people. I am for America first. I'm for the American people first. I am also for, having good relations with other countries. So, but I am not about, China, because we know who's first in China. So I'm gonna let everyone go. I'm gonna work up something for 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight to go live on my regular channel, Everything Spicy. And I want to thank everyone for coming here and listening to me rant. That's what I'm doing right now, is ranting. I probably should be doing something else for my other channel, but I need to get on here and rant. Again, I want the American people to know. The American people deserve to have a bipartisan group of people sit down, look at what evidence has been compiled, and do something with it. So, guys, I love you. You know I do. Stay spicy, America. Night.